Next man, move it. Come on, keep it moving. Next man, come on.
Morning, Mrs. T. Relax. 8, 6, I'm late. What's your rules, Mrs. T? Nobody gets in and the answering machine takes the calls, okay?
Ready when you are, Mrs. Forbes.
I'm not going anywhere.
You obviously haven't read your stars today, Mrs. Forbes.
Good day for travelling, it says.
That really isn't necessary, Mrs. Forbes.
You reckon?
Given the odds.
You're a dazzling little charmer, aren't you? But you turn all the girls' heads. Halitosis usually does. Well, this is cosy. Not often I get a choice of two young men. Should I have packed an overnight bag? Why on earth didn't you phone?
Mrs. Forbes, shut up.
Who's wearing the aftershave?
I am.
I could do with some of that.
Oh, yeah.
I've tried everything else on those stains in the toilet.
I've heard you push your luck. Take a bit of advice. Don't push it too far.
Oh, come on, you're just delivery boys. Did you fancy a paper round? We're having a lot of trouble round our way.
I don't hit women, but I could make an exception in your case.
I thought he was the hit man. You just hold him down, don't you?
You just shut it, right?
Leave it out. Can't you see? She's just winding you up.
Henry Woods, the biggest fence since the Berlin Wall.
Now then, Maggie, nothing ever proved.
You could say the same about Jack the Ripper. He wasn't caught either. So what's with the magical mystery tour?
Magical mystery tour? Oh, that takes us back. The Beatles, you were a young rookie cop, and a husband in the force too. God rest him.
Just ripping off your first young burglar.
Ah, happy days, Maggie.
Oh, sometimes, Henry, you can be really nauseating. I ask you once again, what's with the Mickey Mouse Mafia touch?
Well, I could hardly afford to be seen lunching you at Langan's now, could I? I mean, think of what Nigel Hamster could have made of that. Shady antique stealer, tete-a-tetes with former Lady Dick.
Stick to crime, Henry. You'll never make it as a journal. Now, stop wasting my time. What's all this about? Ming?
Genuine Wan Lee, the real Chinese McCoy.
Epstein.
Henry Wilson. This one is called Lydia. I once knew a limerick about her. There was a young lady called Lydia, than whom there was nobody giddier. She'd go to the flickers and
Next
take
slide.
off her... Braziani. believed to be an unfinished gold and silver chalice he made for Pope Clement VII. He did it in gratitude for the Pope getting him off killing a fellow goldsmith. It's funny, isn't it? How artistry and villainy often go together.
Don't try flash-talking me, Henry Woods. Art show over. Now, what is it you want from me?
I don't want anything from you. I want to give you something.
Really?
These things of beauty came into my possession for appraisal, as you might say.
You might say that, yes. In the old days, you often did.
In the course of my appraisal, I found several curious objects attached to each of them.
Price tags? Bugs?
Well, I wouldn't have known if I hadn't seen them on the television.
No, of course not.
Now, what struck me was that they're not your standard police-type bugs, as you might say.
Because you got that off the telly as well.
Oh, well, it's, window on the world. Well, now, what I thought was, if it isn't the home team, it must be someone playing away, if you follow my meaning.
Yes, well, you thought right, Henry. These are Russian bugs.
See what I mean? British fuzz is one thing, reds are another. I mean, we may have our little idiosyncrasies in this country.
Yeah, it's like nicking each other's property.
I make no comment on that. But we are all British, and by God, that is the way we are going to stay. I got the travel about you and your cat-sized bunch, and, well, I thought you ought to know.
Well, thank you, Henry. I appreciate that. I do, really. I don't suppose for a moment that you still have the actual valuables in your possession.
Afraid not, Mags. No, they've gone back to a client who must be nameless.
Yeah. Well, I'll just take the slides, then.
But you're going to let me have them back, aren't you?
Sentimental value? Of course, what would really help would be to know who was being bugged. But we can't find that out unless we know where the stuff was nicked from.
Nicked? Did I say anything about being nicked?
Oh, never mind, I can find out.
I know you can. I mean, I presume you can. Well, that is, of course, if they were nicked at all in the first place, which, naturally, I've no means of knowing.
Perish the thought.
Exactly. No, I reckon I've done my bit for Queen and Country. And now it's down to you.
Now, don't worry, Henry. We'll do our best to keep this country safe as straight, right-thinking, patriotic British fence appraisers.
Maggie Forbes. You know, I feel quite sorry for those Russians.
Jim.
Tom. Saunders.
It's Maggie Forbes here.
Who?
You know, Maggie.
Not the Maggie Forbes. Pride of the Falls. Are we on scramble? Afraid I don't run to a red telephone.
Leave it out, Jim. The only thing I scramble is eggs. Listen, how about a drink? For old time's sake.
Old time's sake? I thought you'd gone out of my life forever. Now, I'm not a member of any of the right clubs, you know.
Stop taking the mickey. What about lunchtime? At the pub.
Well, I do have rather a pressing engagement with a gentleman who's been manufacturing his own constables, plus the odd turner. Still, he's not going anywhere, apart from Bow Street cells. Midday, all right?
Right.
There we are.
Thanks, Ted. Nice head on it.
Yes, it's the carbon dioxide. It all comes from Albania now. I never know what I'm getting these days.
Ah, but I do. And that looks just like short measure to me.
Oh, I would work in a copper's local.
You still arguing about the collar on a pint?
Hello, Maggie.
Well, don't fall about. I haven't been to Mars.
No, you haven't been here either. Usual?
Please do.
Well, fancy a spot of lunch later at the old place?
Yes, I would. Do you think we'll get in?
I've booked.
Pretty sure of me, aren't you?
No, I can still cancel.
There we go.
Thanks.
To you, £2 coins exactly.
Right. Just like the old days, eh?
Jim.
Well, not a forbidden subject, is it? I mean, just because I offer you lunch.
Sorry. I was out of order. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Well, what's the SP?
I was wondering if the lads in the art squad had anything on these.
Ah. Oh, yes. Yes. Reported stolen about a week ago. Probably in Amsterdam or Rio by now.
Stolen from where?
Rather a splendid house. Bit nouveau, perhaps, in the stockbroker belt.
Whose house?
Never say there's no such thing as poetic justice, Maggie. Remember Joe McCrure from your days in the CID?
Joe McCrure? I put him away for the first and only time in his long and spectacular career.
For the biggest banknote forgery coup of all time. Must have netted him millions.
We confiscated the lot, not just the counterfeit, but most of the legit money he'd laundered it into as well.
Right, but the house and everything in it was in his wife's name, wasn't it? Plus certain financial arrangements he'd made for her, which we couldn't get our hands on.
She's got the brass neck to report a robbery.
Well, you know Gloria. She'd steal the ring off your finger and then complain it was paste.
I left you well provided for, but you're going through it like snowballs in a barbecue.
Oh, don't fash yourself. Another 3 years and you'll be out ironing again.
Another 3 years of your gallop and I'll be coming out to a mobile home in someone's field.
Huh. Oh, I can't see you and Social Security, Joe. Come on. You've had time to tuck a few wee plans up your sleeve.
That's got nothing to do with it. A man is entitled to his little comforts when he comes out.
Oh. All right, McClure. Time's up.
I've got faith in you, Joe. You always could come up with the reddies. Huh? The reddies?
Can't hardly pull that one again, can I?
Is your mistress at home?
Mrs. Forbes. What a lovely surprise.
I could say the same about that swimsuit.
You better come in. I'd hate the neighbours to catch that suit. What is it? Oxfam or prison issue? It's almost as bad as the one you fitted up for my Joe.
I had my way being a straitjacket.
Look who's here, girls.
Well, what is this, a porridge widows' convention?
What do they call you now? Super Dick? Or is that just for the fellas?
A parachute, Maggie.
Oh, she's wearing it.
Dorinda. Your old man know you're out of Holloway. Hello, Laurie. Still giving the loot in the Woolwich. She's got queens over aces.
Thank you, Maggie Forbes. I hope you get spots on your bum.
Why don't you have some champagne and caviar?
No, thanks. Well, I've heard of birds of a feather. Do this sort of thing often, do you?
You know, if you added up all the scores against you round this pool, it would sound like the West Indies versus England.
Oh, don't eyewash me, Gloria. The only cricketing term you understand is bail.
Good. Very good. What's your game here?
My game here is your recent robbery.
Well, we've already had the first round on that one. Anyway, I thought you'd moved on to bigger and better things.
Well, everything's relative, Gloria, as you well know. You got anything else worth nicking?
Oh, a hell of a lot, and all earned by honest sweat.
You mind if I take a look?
Help yourself.
Well, why not? You and Joe always have.
I resent that. I've done some good things in my life.
Gloria, you are the hardest, brassiest, greediest scrubber I have come across in a long career. If the deal was right, you'd sell your own mother and offer a discount.
Do us a favour. Keep your eye on her and don't let her see you. And you, keep an eye on him. I don't want any rough stuff. Oh, not in them. You sound like a riveter. Bitch.
Bugs.
Who knows? There must be something Zukov and Co. want to know very badly.
What could they possibly want to know from a tacky gangster's wife?
Beats me. All I know is they've gone to a lot of trouble.
Well, range can't be more than a few miles. Earwiggers shouldn't be too difficult to find.
Well, they'll be on the move, of course. I mean, they won't stay in the same spot for long.
Did you know that the easiest way to catch earwigs is to put a half-open matchbox in the border? They crawl into it.
You've been playing really Trivial Pursuits again, haven't you?
Oh, come on, just get on with it.
It's almost ready.
Right. Use the car phones to contact. Irregular scanning. No identifiable patterns. We don't want them to twig us. Keep in touch.
Maggie's a bit tetchy, isn't she?
Well, that's mixing with these criminal people. Puts her under the weather. Pass us a mail connector. A male connector. You know, a male, a female.
All right.
You do know the difference, don't you?
Manage.
You'd have to. The sort of blokes you hang around with.
Gregor, to szluszli, jedźcie.
Niet, Misha.
Oi, got them.
What's the range?
About 5 miles.
Good. Time to call Duncan and a couple of his nice big front row forwards.
You're into the rugby types, aren't you?
For backup.
That's just the way you said it.
You like them too.
I don't, actually. I prefer your concert pianist with long, slender fingers.
And soulful eyes. You've done most of your research on rock bands.
H&C Plumbing. I've come about the smell on the landing.
Very good. Think I'll make the Royal Ballet? Yeah, or West Ham.
What have they got?
Those tapes have got every word spoken in the McCrew household in the last 6 weeks. Very thorough.
Anything interesting?
No, just the home life of our own dear Gloria, which seems to consist mainly of throwing parties and groaning like a wounded buffalo the morning after.
It doesn't make sense. There has to be a pattern in it somewhere.
Oh, there is. Just one. The phrase action man keeps popping up, and every time it does, Ivan sits up and starts fine-tuning the dials.
What do they say about action man?
Oh, nothing that makes any sense.
Mrs. Forbes.
Oh, thanks, Charlie.
Maybe if I lay it all out on computer.
A symmetry search.
Oh, you've been reading up on it, haven't you?
Let's go. I've got a lead. Oh, great. Hello.
Hello. Well, this is very nice of you, Maggie.
Well, it was your treat last time. After all, you are bringing me goodies. I mean, I assume anything you can't tell me on the phone has got to be a goodie. Cheers.
Cheers. I've been looking up friend McCrewer's file. Do you know who he's sharing a cell with?
Pass.
Eric Jones,
Action man.
the Keep Fit fanatic.
He was one of the most dangerous little traitors we ever got our hands on. Do you know that little bastard hasn't uttered a word since we collared him, not even to cop a plea?
Tough gentleman. Unlike the duckling. I didn't know you could do duck à l'orange, Maggie.
Just a little restaurant picked up. Get some more wine, would you, Jim? Zukov doesn't know that Jones hasn't told us anything. He must be as anxious to know what he has told us about them as we are to get him to talk at all. Plus all the stuff he was hoping to get if we hadn't moved so fast. That's why they're bugging McCrewer's house. I mean, better than anyone, Zukov knows that everyone has to talk to someone, eventually. So he's hoping that Jones will talk to McCrua, that McCrua will talk to his wife, and that our dear Gloria will let some crumbs drop in gossip. Everything helps in this game.
Isn't it true, though? And what is it exactly you want from me?
A long time since we last saw you here, Inspector.
Oh, Mrs. Forbes will do. To anyone else, I'm just an ordinary prison visitor, okay?
Whatever you say, Mrs. Forbes.
You still got your 2 stars in the Michelin?
Well, people keep coming back, so we must be getting something right.
You know the form on this one, don't you, Joe?
Yes, our man stays outside the door, nobody in the room. What's the matter? Don't you trust us?
Oh, it was McCrua that wanted it that way. Mind you, if he didn't, I would. How's it going, McCrua?
Slowly, you bitch.
Just did my job.
In a pig's eye. You work 16 hours a day to do me.
Country awash with bent tennis. Those getting better all the time, some of them falling into the wrong hands. What do you expect?
Yeah. Well, they were damn good, though. Even you got to admit that.
Yeah, that's another thing. You were cocky. You've been getting away with everything from bullion robbery to fraud in the last 20 years. I just fancied having you over.
So, what's the visit all about?
Well, that's something you can tell me, isn't it?
You always were a clever cow. You heard I got next to Eric Jones. I expected you here weeks ago.
Why?
Oh, come on. I know he hasn't talked. I know he never will talk. Not to you, but he's talked to me. I know what he wants.
What does he want?
Hold the phone. Before he wants, comes I want.
Right. What do you want?
A free pardon.
You're out to lunch.
Well, I can't say it's been a pleasure, because it hasn't.
Hold on. How good is it?
That'll make you a dame.
I'll try. The pardon, that is. If what you've got is as good as you say it is. All I can give you is my word.
I don't know why, you rotten little bag. But that'll do.
All right, let's have it.
He wants to get out and disappear. He knows he's got no chance of pulling it off by himself, so he's willing to do a deal.
Yes?
He's willing to tell you a lot, everything you want to know. If you cooperate in an escape for him that the KGB will accept as his own work. Be convinced he hasn't talked and not come after him.
Right. I better see him.
Not without me, you don't.
You what?
I've told you. I've really got alongside this customer. He won't make a move without me. I'll have to see how he feels about you.
I don't believe it. I mean, how can McCrua crack Jones when everyone else fails?
Well, if I knew that, we wouldn't need McCrua, would we?
But they're like chalk and cheese.
It doesn't add up, Maggie.
Maybe it does. Both in prison, both on the wrong side of the law.
Cellmates become soulmates.
I mean, one sells his soul for what he believes in. The other would sell his grandmother to make a fast buck. I mean, they're not exactly blood brothers.
Do you think I don't know that? I spent 6 months netting McCrua. He's a clever little mover, our Joe. He could con a drink out of Alcoholics Anonymous. Oh, I can just see the line of patter to Jones. You know, how they're both fighting the same fight, both trying to undermine the system.
What, Comrade Joe and Comrade Gloria dancing around her dacker, knocking back the vodka by the crate.
I don't find it funny. Come on. We've got work to do. Not you. I want you to stay here and keep an eye on our Gloria. The phone tap should be on by now. I want every word, every move.
And what about backup? Give Duncan a ring if you get lonely.
Five minutes, okay? How'd you get in here again so soon?
Under option.
If you come here after more bread, forget it.
Listen, Joe. The house is bugged.
What?
By the KGB.
I'd knock off the champagne for a bit if I was you.
I found the bugs myself. They're all over the house. Candy Huggins, old man. The electronic genius. He says they're definitely Russian. Well, don't you see? They must have found out that you're in with Jones. We could do a deal. You could tell me everything that Jones tells you, and then I'll sell it to them.
You've no conscience, have you? Sell out your own country just like that?
Ugh, it's all bollocks, the whole thing. Cowboys and Indians. It wouldn't make a fart's difference if every secret service in the world was abolished tomorrow.
Now listen to Joe. You stay out of this. Do you hear? Out. You could screw the whole thing up. I've got my own plans for Jones, and they don't include the KGB. You put one fat little finger into this pie, and I'll break it. And that'll just be for starters.
Okay. Please yourself. Only I've seen plans of yours before, Joe.
Listen, I never put a foot wrong till I ran into that little bitch.
Maggie Forbes? Aye. She knows about the Russians, too.
Thanks for nothing. Now stay out.
Yes.
I'll not mention who I am, security and all that crap. But let's just say one of your buggers stitched up my house.
I believe I know who you are, Mrs. M.
All I'm saying is, you're too bloody fly for your own good. There's a much simpler arrangement.
I'm all for simplicity, Mrs. M.
Good. Do you like flowers?
Unless they're for funerals, yes.
I'm very partial to roses myself. They've got some lovely ones at Cox Hill Manor.
So I'm told. There's nothing like an English rose.
We grow them in Scotland too, you know.
You spoke of a simpler way.
And much more effective.
How?
Jones trusts my husband. It is all about Jones, isn't it?
You are a perceptive woman.
Listen, Jimmy, if you're not perceptive where I come from, you end up stark naked in a bus queue. Jones feels the need to talk to Joe. Joe pumps him about GCHQ, feeds it all to me on visiting days, and then I give it to you.
You would do this for us?
Uh-huh.
Why?
Well, it isn't for Comrade Gorbachev's baby blues, Jimmy.
For what then?
Loot. Geld, money.
Good. Personally, I prefer mercenaries.
Well, maybe you'd better wait till you hear just how mercenary I am.
Fred's just rung in. Gloria's been having a little tete-a-tete with Zukov.
What?
In the park, and they weren't discussing flower arranging.
What were they saying?
Fred couldn't get close enough to find out, but Zukov seemed very pleased.
What's all this about?
I find myself somewhat bemused.
Go on.
First, you tell me the house is bugged. Then McClure wants us to make him an offer. Now his wife is talking to Zukov. What is going on here?
I don't know. What kind of books?
Well, I couldn't see.
What the hell is she up to? Keep in touch, day or night. I want to know everything.
John le Carre, eat your heart out. along, bloody men.
It is some of the most fascinating material I have ever assessed.
Is it authentic?
Well, the facts I have been able to cross-check are absolutely accurate.
And the rest of the information is both startling and compatible. I would hope so. The lady is asking for a great deal of money.
Yes. I can foresee problems with the financial controller.
The financial controller will know nothing about it. I'm going to pay her out of the special fund.
Sorry. I should be looking where I'm going. Oh, now what's your name? You're a lovely wee thing. What a beautiful baby.
Well,
The meet soon. For tomorrow.
what does he want?
Tomorrow, okay?
Now, I don't like flying blind. You're enjoying this, aren't you, McCrew?
Yeah. I've landed a big fish. And you're dangling on the end of a great big hook.
Yes, well, don't get out of your depth, Joe. The boat could capsize.
You'll still be on the hook, Mrs. Phillips. See you tomorrow.
How's Gloria?
Why the sudden interest?
Just wondered what she was up to.
She's home. Drinking the rest of my money. Her and a few of the girls.
Nice.
Very soon I'll be able to join them. Won't I, Mrs. Phillips?
Keeping you fit, are they, Jones?
I keep myself fit.
Right, here's the deal. First you talk, then you escape.
No. First I escape into your secret custody, then I talk.
Well, be fair. Makes sense, doesn't it?
Nobody's asking you.
I've got the basics of the escape worked out.
Oh, have you?
All I need is a syringe and a drug called menafitone. It produces all the symptoms of a massive heart attack, but without the actual attack. An hour later, you're fit for anything.
I'll check the stuff out. That's kosher. I've got this cushy job in the prison pharmacy. I read it up in the latest copy of the Lancet.
They can't cope with a heart attack on that scale here, so they'll have to rush me out into a local intensive care unit. That's where you come in.
Oh, well, I'm glad I can be of service.
It'll be staffed by your people. You ship me out to a safe house somewhere, but you make it look as if I've done it all myself.
Great story for the press. Tommy Spy does a runner, the Reds will eat it up. Come on, let's go for it.
McCrew, you're getting right up my nose. Just shut it.
Menafitone. It's a derivative of synthetic vitamin K. It would have the effect you describe. This chap, how old is he?
38.
Fit?
500 press-ups a day.
500. Can't wait to meet him. Any information will be quite worthless.
Oh, no. Whatever Gloria can tell Zukov is nothing to what Jones can tell us.
Can you trust McClure to deliver?
I couldn't trust Joe McClure as far as I could smell him, but it's the only chance we've got just now.
Strictly on a need-to-know basis. Who else needs to be in on this?
Prison governor.
And we still have our place across the Solent.
At Warsash.
Covered, is it?
It's just a normal clinic for everyone to see, only there's never any room in it. Could we swing a pardon for McClure after Jones has talked?
I don't like it.
You don't like it? When I think of the effort I've put into getting McClure.
But, as you say, it's the only chance we have just now.
Oh, fine on time. This is the way we'll bring him in, just to make it look good. Okay, let's go down. Come and meet Matron.
What do you bet Matron's going to be Maggie in a few years' time?
No bet.
We could perfectly well have handled your man under conditions of total security ourselves. And since you insist on your own personnel...
Ours not to reason why and all that, Matron. Just get on with it.
This way.
Did I ever tell you hospitals make me feel sick?
Well, that's pretty convenient if you think about it, isn't it?
Oh, thanks for the sympathy.
Monitor for heart function. Syringes. Standard procedure. The extra long needles are for cases where direct injection into the heart muscle is indicated. Saline drip. The needle of the catheter must be inserted directly into a vein. Is that clear?
That's a file of Menafita and a syringe. You probably won't have time to destroy them after you've injected, but don't worry, just hide them. We want them to be found so that it gets out what a clever lad you've been.
And the screws in on it?
The only one who knows is the prison governor. Make sure that McClure is near you to do the yelling. Don't want the stuff wearing off before the prison doctor gets to you.
What time?
Noon tomorrow.
Nigel, what a surprise. Pleasant one, I trust.
I am sorry to break into your holiday.
Are we ever on holiday? Do come in. McClure. Model prisoner by all accounts. Could well earn remission.
He's sharing a cell with Jones. Why?
Jones? Oh, yes, Jones. GCHQ.
Why is he in with McClure? We wanted him kept in solitary.
Price of success, dear boy. Between us, we seem to be catching a lot of criminals nowadays. Prison service can't cope. Simple matter of overcrowding.
We might need a pardon for McClure.
As I said, model prisoner. But surely you can authorize that, Nigel. You hardly need me.
I'd prefer it to come from your side of the fence. It would be better, politically.
Are we talking about national security? Or just making sure that we carry the can if anything goes wrong?
National interest.
Quite. Of course, we'll need some reason for a pardon.
Overcrowding.
We're arriving at 12:40 tomorrow. Is everything all right?
Fine.
Back up?
Duncan and a couple of his boys.
Good. You're supposed to be nurses. Not paid 3 girls.
What did I tell you?
What did you tell her?
Oh, just what a really neat matron you'd make if you retired.
Oh, thank you very much. I do still have to pay on the buses, you know.
You okay?
I'm fine.
Big day tomorrow.
Yes.
for lunch then? Cock or bean?
Cock or nothing, McClure. Keep moving.
Now.
They're moving.
Come on!
Help! Help! It's John! He's collapsed!
He's had a massive heart attack. We haven't the facilities here. Get the governor.
Why is he doing this?
Who?
Jones.
Hasn't got much choice, has he? 20 years in prison. He'd be an old man when he came out. Oh, come on, they're late.
And what will happen afterwards? When he's talked?
I don't know.
I've been reading his file. No family, no friends. He's a real loner.
Yes, they often are.
And what about you?
What?
Do you ever get lonely?
Oh, come on. The hospitals always have this effect on you. What is this? A Lonely Hearts Club meeting? Now, you just keep your mouth... Oh, here they are. Come on, let's go.
He's dead.
What?
Massive coronary occlusion.
No. That's what it's supposed to look like.
That, dear lady, is what it is.
But you said it would be all right.
You said he was fit. You'll recall that I never examined him.
As you can imagine, a number of people in high places are not best pleased.
It was the right drug. I drew it from pharmacy myself. I handed it to Jones personally.
Well, we'll just have to wait for the post-mortem, won't we?
Oh, hello, Mrs. Forbes. Coronary occlusion. Well, this man had a thickening of the arteries to the heart. Well, under those circumstances, the drug he took would have caused the fatal blockage.
I read his medical report. He was a fit man.
Well, it's not a condition that would show up in a physical.
I see. Yes. Thank you, Doctor. I've got some bad news for you, for both of us. Jones is dead.
Cheer up, Princess. All is not lost.
Your partner is lost for a start. That was unconditional of Jones talking.
Anything he could have told you, I can tell you. Talk? Go on, Benny. Last few months, I ain't been able to stop him. How the Russians recruited him. Names of others you haven't got onto yet. Name of his controller, man above him again. Latest dead letter drops, codes, people they got in position in other places. Everything you could have got from debriefing him, you can get from me.
Why didn't you use this to trade for a partner instead of this escape business?
Because, darling, he was ready to crack. He'd have given it to you for nothing. If you got it all from Jonesy, you wouldn't now be needing it from me, would you?
Whose idea was it to get Jones to bargain for a phony escape?
That was mine.
Whose idea was the drug?
That was mine, too. I did tell you I worked in the pharmacy, like, didn't I?
You knew something about Jones. You knew about his heart. How could you when the doctors didn't?
I guessed. I only guessed. He used to do all these press-ups, see? And afterwards, sometimes he'd get this pain in his chest. So I told him he'd strain the muscle. But I did think it might be a touch of angina. Sign of the old fatty arteries sort of thing.
You as good as killed him, you bastard.
Well, he was a traitor, wasn't he?
Why? You'd have got your pardon anyway, so why?
Well, the truth is, I wanted a bit more than just a pardon. See, my Gloria's been going through the little nest egg like castor oil through a baby. So what I wanted, as well as the pardon, is money, love. Dirty, great wedges of it. Now, do you want all this spy stuff or not?
It is the most callous, cynical. Good God. Is there no honor anywhere in the world anymore?
Nigel, we are not talking about the nice, cosy, gentlemanly world of espionage and betrayal now. We are dealing with crime. Good old-fashioned, homicidal larceny. We're being carved up by a pro.
Well, you deal with it. I want nothing to do with it, and I never want it mentioned again.
Do we agree to McCrua's terms or not?
Yes.
Oi, what about the luggage?
I'm gonna get the champagne, my lovely.
Gloria? Where's my Hockney?
It went with the Wan Lee.
Who?
The Ming.
Oh, yeah.
I told you, everything got nicked.
Yeah, I believe you.
So they did. Welcome home, John.
Cheers.
Cheers. Come on. Let's have a look.
You are about to see one of the world's great aphrodisiacs.
I can't wait.
You ready for this?
Uh-huh.
Ta-da!
Oh! Oh! Oh. And is the other one the same?
Similar. Very similar.
Oh, you're a genius, Joe.
I won't argue with that.
You know, it takes one to know one.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me it isn't true.
Bitch. The bitch! She's paid me off in my own duds!
And you let her, you great git. Oh, it's a good job one of us has got our heads screwed on. I put my fat finger in the pie.
You what?
The KGB.
You dozy great cow. It's done and all.
Oh!
You didn't, did you?
Bitch!
You did. So did Zukov.